Welcome back to Bachelor Buzz, your favorite place to come for recaps on your favorite show and the latest in Bachelor Nation news. We're your hosts, Arena
and Julia, and we're so glad that you could join us on this Tuesday after our episode last night, Bachelor Monday, and we hope you're having a great day and getting your buzz on, just like kind of us. What just happened, Arena?
I already drank it.
She just
my
killed
straw.
her entire rest of her wine. That was supposed to last you this whole
It was.
recording,
It
Arena.
was so little though, and it was ice and just watering it down.
That's fine. I don't have anything again because I forget that I'm a working mom sometimes and I just don't want to drink on a Tuesday. But I did drink last night and I wanted to let you all know how it was. It was a red wine. It was F. Stephen Miller Black Label. It was pretty good. It was a Cab Sauv, I think. And I liked it. I actually frothed it. Have you heard of that before?
I know what
Frothing
frothing
it?
is, but I don't know what it
Yeah.
means to froth
I'm
it.
a big frother. Like I froth
Ooh,
coffee. I will
yeah,
froth my mimosa. Like I just love things with, I love bubbles like seltzer water and stuff.
yeah.
So I heard that if you froth your red wine, it like loosens up the tannins or something so that you don't get as hungover.
Oh.
So, I tried it. I had only one glass last night while I watched The Bachelor. So I mean, that's not really like a hangover risk, So I wasn't hungover this morning, but it was nice. I felt it was aerated really well. I think that's probably what it does, aerating
Okay.
it really well. Anyways, that was my wine
Oh, I
experience
want to try
and
that. What, like, I feel like, can
good.
I go to a restaurant or something and be like, can you froth it?
Ooh,
And they would
I
be probably
would
be like,
not
no.
know if they will do that at a
They're
restaurant.
like,
Maybe if it's like a coffee, like cafe wine bar,
yes,
if they have a frother. But like,
that would
come
be
to
so
my house. I have a frother. I will froth it up for you.
yes.
I literally love my frother.
That would be so fun. Like the idea of frothing
Yeah,
wine sounds so cool because, like you
I
said, when you said, it, I was
know.
like thinking of, yeah, you do that with coffee. You can do that with like tea, like matcha
Mhm.
green tea. Sometimes you can have it frothed,
Yeah.
like, and like you said, mimosas, like certain
Mhm.
alcoholic drinks. But that just sounds
Yeah,
really cool. I just
it was
like how it
good.
looks too. It's just something airy and
Hot
fluffy about it.
chocolate. I
You know?
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's what I did. I hope you all had a great glass of wine too, or not. We don't need to
Yeah.
drink. Nobody needs to drink. We just like
Yeah.
to get a little buzz on sometimes.
Oh,
But
that's all.
um anyways, yeah. So also I wanted to, I love talking about the cold open, but I am not able to talk about it because I
Full
missed the
disclosure.
first like 15 minutes last night because I was cleaning. I had to clean up dinner. I cooked a lot. I cooked like three different proteins and it was just a whole thing. And my baby, I had to clean his stuff up. So like I just was a little out of it. And then I had my frost wine. I wasn't in it to take my notes. And so Arena, will you do us all the honor of taking the lead on
Of
the
course.
beginning of the episode. And then I'll jump in for the deep conversation because I really liked hearing that and I was all jazzed about getting the notes on that one. So
Yeah. No, like, no problem. This is why having co-hosts is really great, guys. We're here to
thank
pick each other
goodness.
up and be there.
Yes, women supporting women
Yes.
always.
Women supporting women.
Always.
Yes. So, and moms supporting moms because we all have our
Yes.
off days, so or
Mhm.
things that we have to do. Thankfully, last
Mhm.
night my kids went down and it wasn't a
Oh,
big
nice.
deal because it was a big weekend. We had a lot going on over the
Oh,
weekend, so
yes. Yeah, it's
that's what
true.
helped. So I was ready to go. But so let's start
Ready
out.
for The
This is
Bachelor.
episode 7, season 28. We are really starting to see more feelings, and I am here for it. I am really
Yes.
excited about this part of the season, for any season, really. But it's nice to kind of see where Joey is in terms of his feelings.
Mm.
So we start out with the cold open, and it's with Maria, and we see part of the scene that we see later on in the nighttime portion of the group date where she's basically telling him that she's having a tough time and that even though she knows this is what she signed up for, she's just having a tough time seeing him, kiss other women and act the same with other women because, they're getting to that point. They're getting to hometowns. And she just had her one on one in Montreal the week before. So she's like on cloud nine, and it was
Right.
the shopping date. You know, it was all very
Yes.
beautiful. They connected. She told him that she was really starting to fall for him, and she's surprised in the way that she's doing it. And so she, I think, got in her head.
Yes.
So
And I mean, there's always that one person every season who's like, wait, this is what we have to do? That
yeah,
we all date you? You know, like
yeah.
there's always one person who just like cannot wrap their heads around it.
Mhm.
So it looks like she's that person this season.
And
Took a
she's
while.
definitely right. It took
Yeah.
her a while. I think the whole time she was pretty confident in her connection
Yeah.
with him. And I think also, though, maybe for her, it was a lot of concentration on the drama that she was being wrapped up in, which I
Hmm.
don't feel like is something she was starting, but she was involved in it. And
Yeah.
maybe that was distracting her. So she wasn't really as focused on what was going on with the other women. She was really focused on her connection with him only. But
Yeah.
now that she's at the top six, she's seeing it like in front of her face.
Everybody.
And
Hmm.
yeah, and she's seeing two other women get the second one on one because uniquely, this top six, well, actually, let's start out and say they're in Jasper, Alberta, Canada.
Yes.
And
I know
there
we're getting ahead
are,
of ourselves.
yes, there are six women left. We
And
have
they are, yes, you
Rachel,
want to tell? Hmm.
Rachel, Kelsey A, Jen, Maria, Kelsey T, and Daisy. And Joey's excited for all of them. He says he could see a future with all of them, which is interesting. Because even though I think they're all great, they're all very different.
They
And
are.
I think, like, at this point, the lead usually, I would think, has a pretty good idea of, where they are, how they're feeling, and who's really at the top in their minds, even if they don't
Hmm.
want to consciously admit that. I think that their feelings are only really with a smaller portion of people out of that top
Hmm.
six or seven. So I think, although he could say he sees himself with all of them, maybe he can, but I think deep down, he's only really feeling it with some
Knows.
people.
And I was gonna say, like, to say, oh, I see a future with all of them, like at this point, it just doesn't seem that genuine because it's like you haven't done the home, like this is the point where you need to do the hometowns. He really needs to dig deep and figure it out because you can't just see that with six people
Yeah,
before really knowing them.
really.
So next
Yeah,
week will be so good and eye-opening.
I'm ready for it. But yeah, so excuse me, guys. He's also playing tennis with Jesse in the beginning
Okay.
again, which we're seeing a lot now. It's like Jesse's getting free tennis lessons as he
Jesse's loving
travels.
it. He's
Jesse
like,
loves
what
it.
should we do? How about another tennis match?
Hey
What about you
man,
this
let's
time?
talk.
I
which
love
is
that.
which is totally fine. And my 5-year-old saw this part, and
Oh
she was
yeah.
watching it, and she takes tennis. She has
Uh-huh.
she takes a little lessons with another partner, and then she does private. And she was
Cute.
watching it. She's like, "Oh, good hit!" She's just like commenting on the
I told you
tennis.
we need more of her content. Like
I know,
she
I
should be
know.
on the show. I mean, she could be a guest. She
Right?
really.
I tried to like record her, but it was just so like in the moment, and I was like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna miss it. But yeah, she definitely has some hot
we'll
takes,
get
which,
there.
like you said, need to get her in on some of this stuff. Basically, what we see in the beginning, though, um, Jen is spiraling. And we have not
Hmm.
seen this in the beginning because Jen was always
She,
really confident
yeah.
and chill,
We
cool.
were commenting last episode about how like she was kind of like the light
Yes.
one for everybody, just kind of like
Yes.
helping bring people up. But nope, not this episode.
She is having a tough time for sure. And I can
You
see
can
why
feel it.
because it's been a long time since she had her one on one. Like it was
Hmm.
Daisy first and then her. And she was the second one on one, and that was weeks ago at this point.
Yep.
So, they're all sitting there and Daisy's really like excited. She wants to get the one on one, and then they get the knock at the door and it's
Yep.
the date card.
And guess who gets it?
Daisy!
America's sweetheart,
Yes, America's
Daisy.
sweetheart, you're right. It's
I
Daisy.
mean, did we expect anybody else?
No.
It's a little too predictable. Like,
It's
come on,
too.
producers. This has been just like, I mean, it's been a fun season. I've enjoyed it, but like, I mean, we called all this.
Yes.
It wasn't hard to call, you
Mm-mm.
know?
Yep.
Anyways, but you know what? After this episode, maybe things will be shaken up a little more. So we're hoping we're over here like we hope that there's drama.
Oh gosh, no, we just really want there to be a challenge to know who it is. We want to be surprised.
Oh, we want to like,
Yeah,
use our skills to figure
yes.
out. who it
Exactly.
is.
We want to like
So,
do that. We want to like.
anyways, so Daisy gets the one-on-one and
Mhm.
everyone's bummed,
Actually,
but
some people take it better than others. I feel like Kelsey A and Rachel, they were sitting next to her on the couch, and like even like Rachel was like, "See, I told you." She was like, "I knew you'd get it," basically, and Kelsey A was like,
didn't mean
"That's
it.
totally fine."
Yeah,
And Kelsey T looked sad, but she wasn't voicing it, and Jen definitely was visibly upset. Which is understandable. I'm not saying she shouldn't be. And Maria too was I won't say upset, but just kind of like, okay, that's the first one-on-one. There's only one left, so we'll see what
yeah.
happens. So, they go on the one-on-one. They go horseback riding in beautiful Jasper,
Jasper.
which is
It's so pretty there.
breathtaking. Yeah.
Looks cold,
Oh, yes. Mm.
but
I
it's so nice and like
know.
mountains and like
Mhm.
beautiful lakes. Like I literally was just like, when am I gonna go on a vacation?
Yeah.
I want to go there. And the cabins, they're all dressed like so, or it looked cold out there, but then Daisy runs out in like a sweater and
From
jeans. And I was
Minnesota.
like, okay, never mind. Yeah, maybe that's it. Honestly, she's
Minnesota.
like,
Yeah.
but I mean, Maria's from Canada.
Yeah.
She wore a vest later on, a
She
very
did
puffy
wear a
vest.
vest
They
when they
all
first showed
did.
up.
I just
They
had to, I wrote that down. They all did. But we'll
puffy
talk about
coats
that
and
later.
vests. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
All puffy.
everybody's
Cropped
dressed is so
jackets,
similar
cropped.
now. We've
Yeah.
seen a lot of very similar outfits this season. Just like
Yes.
same color palettes and just
Yes.
like same hairstyles. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I know that with colors, I know that they probably tell them to stick to certain colors because it looks better on camera. But aside from that, the actual clothing pieces, like a lot of denim, which I know is in right now. I know long
it
denim
is,
skirts
yeah.
are in. I got it. But like seriously, sometimes it felt like who didn't get the memo to wear the jeans, like the same shade
Yeah. And
jeans.
then I'm like looking at what I wear and I'm like, I have those jeans. Like, it's just so bad. We all are
Hey,
just little influencers now.
yeah,
We just love
this
good
is what
fashion.
it is.
Anyways, they all looked
Yeah.
gorgeous, of
Hmm.
course. So there's
They
that
all
too.
did. They did. They all
But
really
yeah,
do. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Daisy
great.
looked cute though. She had like a little black top on, right?
Yeah,
Jeans.
looked like a bodysuit, maybe. Maybe
Hmm.
not. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
But yeah, with the jeans. And I liked her. She didn't wear the red coat, but earlier she was wearing a red puffy coat, and I actually really like that. The color
Mhm.
kind of like pops.
Oh, that's
Anyhow,
cute.
they go on their ride, and then there's this background music that. What song is this? I don't know because I tried looking it up, but it's like
Aw.
they were really forcing the romantic
Mm,
vibe of this date. It was like they're playing
right.
this melodic music with this beautiful singer. They're walking, or not walking, they're riding the horses. There's like, it's so beautiful, it's beautiful.
Hmm.
And, then they stop at like an overlook and they look out over the valley and,
Hmm.
and they want to hold hands, but they can't because their horses won't come
It's like I
together.
can't reach you.
I know. It's like a Hallmark movie too.
I wonder if this is
Is
foreshadowing. It's a
it?
metaphor,
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. So they go and they do that. They head over, and then we see the infamous wooden hot tub
Oh
that
my
shows
gosh.
up with like almost every single season
Yes.
of the show, Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Yes.
And of course, they get in their swimsuits, they get in the hot tub, they have a conversation about what love is to them, basically. And Daisy's saying love for her is like, even when you hate the person, you still love them. It's
Mhm.
unconditional and you're willing to put the work in. And Joey looks so happy to hear this. And he's like, yeah, for me, love is like, I forgot what he said, like always being there for the other person. It's, you can't live without the person. That's what it is. That's his
Mhm.
thing that he said before, I think. And he was saying that. And then there was a point where they hugged. Like after they made out,
Mhm.
they hugged, which was beautiful and everything. And I think that shows like actually caring. But he is
Mhm.
clutching her so tight and holding her, and his eyes are closed. And you can tell he's just in the moment. And she's
Mhm.
hugging him, but her eyes are open. And she doesn't seem as into it as he
Yeah.
does. He seems
That
so into her, Julia,
I
more than she
know.
seems into him at this point. At
Yeah.
this point.
And it's like it begs the question, is she being guarded or is there a mismatch of feelings? Like
Yeah.
it's really hard to know. And that is where I can talk about their talk later at the dinner
Let's get into
portion
it.
of the night.
Yeah.
She wore this really cool top. It was like this very asymmetrical, like
White.
white, like satin top. One side, like her right side had this huge puffy sleeve. The other one was like just cut off, like no arm, right? There was
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, no arm.
But anyway, she looks really pretty. Curled hair. He looks cute. Anyways, like basically they had a nice dinner, and I mean he just talks about how much he likes her. He just really goes into it. He's like, "Oh my gosh, connection since day one. Like I've had strong feelings, strong feelings," he says. And then I mean, we cut to her and she says she doesn't feel comfortable telling him that she's falling in love or falling for him because like basically if she risks it and gets hurt because he doesn't feel that way in the end. And I just think it's like so ironic because like this really could be a self-fulfilling prophecy at this point. Like if she's not giving him enough to help him know that like, oh, she could be the one, then she will go home regardless. So she
Mm-hmm.
kind of needs to start putting her cards out on the table. That was my perspective of it. And I just thought it was sad. I mean, she literally told him that she isn't in love. She knows he might pull away, and she plans to tell him that. And when she does, his face just falls. Like it was a very noticeable change to me. I just felt that he was like, "Oh shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
what am I doing?" Now, she also goes into her health issues and like how she basically just needs somebody to be there for her in sickness and health, and that's very important for her. And he says he's not scared and he wants to meet her family and he really wants their relationship to grow. And he gives her the rose. And honestly, she looked so relieved and happy. She was like giddy at the end.
She
So,
is.
on that note, I'm like, okay, I'm more relieved because I'm like, okay, maybe we are overthinking the mismatch possibly, but I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I don't.
She did seem
So
happy, but of course she's happy. She wants to be there, right? So,
exactly. And I think she really does like him. She's attracted to him. She really does really, really like him. She sees a lot of great things in him and she does see a future with him. But she was very much still like, I'm not in love with you yet.
yeah,
I'm
she
not
said that.
falling in love yet. And by the end of the date, when they were making out on the ice, she did say,
Mhm.
well, maybe I am falling. But I'm kind
Right.
of wondering, like, is it purely that, or is it because he validated her so much and said that he would
Right. She's
put
like on
in
a
the work?
high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who
Like
wouldn't
she
feel
is
like,
the person who didn't go on a date since she got her cochlear
yeah,
implant. So
yeah,
now she has this like gorgeous guy who's telling
mhm,
her that he's in it for real.
yep,
Like, not to say that her feelings aren't genuine. Again, we
exactly.
don't know.
Yeah, we don't
And
know.
we won't know,
Hmm.
until we see more or,
Yeah.
like we can never really know. But like at the end, she is a little bit like, this is the first guy she's dated,
Yeah.
seriously, in a
Yeah.
long time.
And
So
this is a big deal.
it may cloud her judgment a bit to know, oh, he's all in. Maybe she needs to sit back and really reflect. Do I really like him? Do I really want
Exactly.
him? Or is it just like the idea of him and the
Yeah,
idea of his support?
exactly. Yeah, and that's the
So,
thing that I think now we're going to start to kind of, and maybe the audience will just start to look for holes in the relationship because of this coming up. And it's not to fault Daisy. I think she was completely in the right to tell him how she felt because when you think about it, this show moves on such a fast pace that in the real world, like you really literally they at this point had only had two real dates.
hmm
And so it's totally normal to be like, I'm not falling in love with you yet, but I really, really like you. That makes
yeah,
sense. And she was just voicing that. And
that's
like you
true.
mentioned before with her health issues, she needs to know that she's with someone that really will be with her through sickness and health. And as
Yeah.
much as he says that he will be, and I'm not knocking Joey, I don't not believe that he wouldn't be there. Like he seems like
hmm
a great guy, but that's a
Right.
lot to take on. If she does
So early. And like the magnitude of her health problems
exactly, it's life or
was
death type
large.
of health problems
Yeah.
here, and she
She's
has a
much better now, but like, I mean,
you never
Lyme's
know.
disease is
No.
a kicker that can
Yes.
present itself in so many ways.
Yeah, to
It
have
can be
children
ongoing, it
too.
can be dormant. Like,
So I
yeah,
think that's also why she's hesitant, and understandably, she's not jumping in like I'm falling in love with you because It's a combination of things. It's her background, what she's gone through, and also maybe she's just not feeling it. And that's
Yeah,
okay. He's a great guy,
he
but
is.
maybe she's not feeling it.
But at some point, she needs to
Yeah.
figure it out,
Yeah, because
right?
he's
I
falling.
mean,
He's
he's
there.
falling, and I mean, honestly, all this really does kind of go towards our theory that maybe she is the one who like backs out.
Yep.
He gets heartbroken a bit,
Yeah.
and then there's a whole mess that we already know is coming. There's some
Yes.
sort of train wreck ahead of
Yep.
us, and she may
Foreshadowing.
be the one driving it,
Yep,
you
I
know?
think so. And honestly, also, like you were saying before, him talking about the self-fulfilling prophecy, where he keeps
Hmm.
talking about his biggest fear is coming to a point where he chooses someone and he's in love with this person unconditionally, because that's his big thing. And he's said it before, when he loves unconditionally. There is no other, there's no one else. It's just this person, which is very beautiful.
Yeah.
But he's afraid that he'll come to that point and that person will be like, it's not you, and I
Yeah.
can't do this. And like you just said, maybe this is foreshadowing. Maybe there's a reason why they keep showing us his insecurities over and
Yeah.
over. Because obviously they filmed it, but they keep showing it. And it's kind of like, are you foreshadowing? Are you giving us a hint?
It's
Are you
giving a
setting it up?
little bit too insecure. Like
It's
some
too
people
much.
are getting turned off. Like I am part of a bachelor group on Facebook and someone posted like this is the first time that I've been like this is from last week and I saw it like a few days ago. They're like this is the first time that I've literally been turned off by Joey and just like not really into him as a bachelor and I was like
Oh,
interesting.
oh,
Yeah. I
yeah,
think people like they want to see the sensitive side, but they also want to know that there's like a level of confidence and like
yeah,
security
yeah,
in oneself and
yeah.
hopefulness, which
Mhm.
I feel like he has
Yeah.
on the surface, but now we're seeing the deeper side. So
And it's good that we're
maybe
seeing
that's
it.
just his vulnerability, you know?
I think so, but that's like part of like he's always been pretty frank about saying, not detailed, but he has said he has a lot going on. He is in
Mhm.
therapy,
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with any of this. I'm just gonna
it's a
preface
good
that
thing.
it's
Yeah,
it's human. We all go through things, but I think that we're really starting to see him kind of, I don't want to say unravel, but really his feelings are coming to the surface more now, and we're seeing it, and he's exhausted. As we'll see, I think later on, like at that group date when he's talking to Maria, he just looked
yeah.
exhausted.
Right.
Physically,
Yeah, I mean, she's
emotionally,
like the
mentally.
culmination of all this. Like she really
Yes.
kept him on his toes
Yeah.
as he knew
Yeah.
she would.
Yeah. 100%.
Um,
So,
okay,
yeah.
so that was Daisy's date. And
Yes.
yes, they went ice skating at the end and it was cute.
Yes.
And it
It
was
was all
nice.
very like winter sports in Canada.
Yes.
So,
Yes. All
next
right.
up,
And then
group date.
moving on. Group date. We do find out that Kelsey gets the other one-on-one.
Yeah.
And then the group date starts. And I just have to say, they're all wearing the same thing. We already said that, but that's what I wrote. And then they're also called Lumberjills this
Yeah.
episode because, ooh, maybe that should be our title. Joey and the Lumberjills or
Yes.
something.
Yes. That's a good one. I like it.
um, so the Lumberjills, basically, this is the female version of a lumberjack. So we are seeing women empowerment, we are seeing strength, we are seeing a stronger version of being outside on Maria's part.
Yeah.
But overall, it was very, I thought it was a cool date. Like I was sitting there just like, I wonder if I could saw like a huge trunk of a tree,
Mm-hmm.
a, you know, lumber.
Yeah.
Um, and then they were chopping wood. Maria actually did a good job with that. Rachel killed it. Her dad works with wood. He's a
Yeah. Woodworking. Yeah.
woodworker.
Mm-hmm.
So she knew what she was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey T did well with like the lifting and the throwing of the wood, I believe. You
Yeah.
know, they had all these different little
Of
obstacles to
course.
do.
Yeah.
And then Kelsey also did really well with the dart, like the axe
Yeah.
throwing. So that was cool to see. I said Maria sucks, but she did well with chipping wood.
Yeah.
Um, and then Jen, oh Jen,
Uh,
little. she was insecure. We know that she was spiraling. So she sought out Joey. She planted a kiss on him, and all the girls saw it and got pissed. And as they do, this
Yeah,
again, it's
it's tough.
typical for this time of the season and also
Yeah.
just like in general.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so Jen was insecure, but I was proud of her for doing that. It definitely helped her talk with him later at
Yeah,
the after party.
gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, hey, and like you said, a lot of the women had issues with it. It was funny. Maria was like, "Do they realize I have an axe?" Like, you know, and it's like,
Yes.
and they get it. They know that that's what's gonna happen. And I don't think Jen did it to be in front of their faces. He was literally doing his ITM, and he was off to himself behind some trees. And they happened to see through the clearing that she ran up and was like, just want to give you a good luck kiss. So I don't feel like on Jen's part, she was just doing what she had to do. I don't think she was doing it to start anything. And the ladies just saw it and they were being human and reacting to it. But I have to note Rachel's dedication to that obstacle course when she had to drink elk milk and she's lactose intolerant was
Girl.
just everything. Like, girl was like, look, and then she's like, it tastes so good. And he loved that.
Oh
Because
my
she was like,
God.
I'm doing this to get
Elk
to hometowns.
Ooh.
Like,
Dude, that's dedication.
yes.
Like,
Because I
no,
don't drink milk. I haven't in
I
years.
don't either.
I'm more than lactose intolerant. Like, I just cannot. I think I would have been, I don't know what I would have done. It depends on the man. I don't know.
You would have not survived this season if you were a single bachelorette on this show with the sausage in the mouth, the KFC. You would have been like, I'm out.
I'm
Nope.
fine. I'm going home.
Where are the,
Where's
I don't
my
even
fake
know,
chicken nuggets and my buffalo
imitation
wings?
chicken?
My Morning Star.
Morningstar, they're the best. Hashtag
Morning
Morningstar,
Star.
sponsor us.
Hello. Your buffalo wings actually are good though. They've been good for
Oh my
years.
God. No, I love mornings. I had them tonight. I had a
Did
buffalo
you?
chicken salad with
Oh my
Morningstar
gosh.
chicken nuggets.
I
It was
was
Frank's
about to.
red hot sauce.
My husband's cooking them now. Like I was gonna have it with my
Oh
salad.
my
Okay.
God. Yes.
Oh.
This
Shots
is
are
why we're on
fired.
the show together, guys. This is
Yes.
why we are friends. And
Yes.
yeah, we're both like kind of vegan, plant-based, no meat, no dairy. And it's just so funny because truly I wasn't like this before I started this show. Like I just started this in January and it's like this is my life now and I'm not looking back. And it's just so funny that like we have that
Welcome.
in common.
Welcome.
But anyways, yes, welcome. But anyways, even though I was previously a milk drinker, I don't think I would drink elk milk at this point in my life. I do want to know what it tastes like. Does seem delicious to me, but I don't want to exploit them. Whatever. I do hope that they're treated well, the elks.
Yes.
We hope
I hope
so.
so.
So that's all I can say
Okay.
about that.
Mm-hmm.
Justice for elks. Anyways, but proud of Rachel for
Hashtag.
like showing Joey that she's
Yes.
willing to take the
Hey,
milk for him.
she's a competitor, and I
She
respect
is.
that. And I think he does.
Yeah,
I
I
like
know.
competition. So.
But okay, so the after party
Ooh. This
again,
was.
just sadness,
Oh. Yeah.
feelings.
First, we have Jen, right? And she basically
Mhm.
tells him how she feels. And he reassures her. She's basically also talking about real things, how the difference in cultures, how she's like, the Vietnamese
Yes.
culture, the American culture, and how her mom might not like get it, and how she's never brought
Right.
anyone home before.
Nobody.
So I think this is great that she talked about it on TV. It would have been nice to see her in hometown.
I
I will
truly
say
was just like, "Oh, I just want to see that. I would
that.
love to see kind of a clash of cultures and just see how would this like blended relationship
I would.
handle it, you know?
Yeah, I just.
And I would just love to see that of the culture
Mhm.
a little bit.
It would be
And
nice.
then
Mhm.
yeah. And then just speaking on like the fact she never took anyone home, we also learned later, and I'm just gonna say it now because I feel like it fits the conversation,
Yep.
but Maria also has
Yep.
never brought anyone home.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, how many guys did I bring home? Not a lot. Not a lot, but definitely at least one or two before my husband. Like, I don't know.
Really?
How about you, Arena?
See,
Never?
I can't relate. The only
But
man
you
I ever
met
brought
them. Yeah,
home,
you met
my husband.
your husband younger
Yeah, I was
than when I
23 when
did.
I met him, and he
Yeah,
was the only one my family met, and I married him. So,
there you go.
and this
I
is
was 27.
still 20s. Like,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
so it
Yeah, I
kind
was
of makes sense.
27.
Like, Jen's like, I want to say she's like 25, maybe? I don't know. Is she's
Yeah.
like around there? Maria's 29, but
Yeah,
she also has
Maria.
a
It
dad
just
and a brother.
surprised me. Hmm?
So, yeah, it's a little
Yeah,
different.
she's, yeah. But we'll talk more about
Yeah,
Maria later,
yeah.
actually. Keep an eye out for our deep dive on Maria.
Yes.
Woohoo.
Social
Coming
Maria
up
profile
soon.
coming out.
Yes. But yeah, so Jen, yeah, she talked about that and
Mhm.
he reassured her.
Yeah. In pure Joey
Again,
fashion.
maybe he needs to cool it on all the reassuring
Joey
lately.
fashion. That is what Joey does. He
He
is a
can't help
reassurance
it.
dude. He can't. He's
No.
so kind. He's so empathetic. He really wants to just make everyone feel better. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing at all, but some people may say, maybe, is this related to the people pleasing that was mentioned last season in Charity's season? And a lot
Yeah.
of us have those traits. Like I said, I'm not knocking him for it.
I did respect him for walking Jess out, but she is literally the only person
Yeah.
that he has
Yeah.
cut outside of the rose
Uh-huh.
ceremony.
Yeah. Yeah. Which made sense when he did.
Yeah, but like it's just I don't know. At some point he needs to stop like being so rich. But you know what? What's done is done. We will see what happens,
Yeah.
all of you listeners,
Oh my
if you
God.
haven't figured out anything yet from what I
And
just said.
right.
Sorry. We'll get to it. Okay.
But yeah,
Um,
so
but
that's
yeah.
reassurance for Jen, and then they make out, of course.
Yeah.
And then we see Kelsey T for a little, and he's talking to her. And then they like breeze over Rachel, which once again,
So
people, I need to
quick.
get into this about Rachel, and I'm just gonna do it here. The thing
Yes.
with
Hear it.
Rachel that bothers me, because I'm a huge fan of Rachel. If you've been listening to our podcast, watching us, you know I am. One of the reasons is because she is a woman of color. I'm going to be honest. Okay. And second of all, when I saw their pictures before the season started, I just had a good feeling about her. I was like, I think he's
You
really good
did.
actor. So,
That was kind of cool.
anyways, right?
Mhm.
I try to follow my intuition too.
You really
This is
did. Like
educated guessing, and
top four.
right?
Oh,
I have something about Kelsey A too.
okay.
Well, people know the top four now, but like,
Whatever. Sorry.
but we'll get into it.
Wait, 5 minutes. Okay, go
So,
on.
so with Rachel, you'll notice that, and I'm sorry, guys, this is going to be a spoiler to the top four. She's
We are
part of
so
the.
bad. I love
We're
it.
just
Go
gonna do
on.
it, like, because it's part of.
Whatever.
She's part of the top four, and she's the only one from the top four that we did not see a bio video of her in the beginning of the season. Why?
Yes.
Why? The show knew she was in the
Like they
top
couldn't
four.
go back and scrap together some content
Literally,
from before. I'm
literally.
sure they did a video from
They did.
everyone
They did
at
it for
least
all of them, I
once.
think. Don't they do it
Yeah,
for all of them? And then they
I would
just
hope
choose who they
so.
want
I
to
don't know.
like use. So we saw Lexi's. We saw who left. Even though we
Mhm.
know we really liked her, she left. She self-eliminated. We saw Daisy's. We saw Kelsey A's. We saw Maria's. We saw Erica's, who left in the second week. So I'm kind of like, did you just think that, oh, let's not give it away, so let's leave one out? She wasn't the one to leave out, people. Because now we don't really know her. We've barely seen her all
No.
season. We've seen little glimpses and pieces of her. There's people online that are like, she's boring. There's no chemistry. But I
People are
think there
saying that.
is. There 100% is. And you
I
brought up
mean,
earlier the wedding date.
the
It
wedding
was right there.
ceremony date where she just like, let me grab this mic. Let
Hey,
me
babe.
give this
Yeah.
speech, Mrs. G. Hello,
Yes.
weird that all his exes are here.
Yeah.
That was so money
So,
and so cool. And you can tell he was just like, whoa, like
yes.
this girl is
Mm-hmm.
dope. I like it.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, she's so cool. And I texted her
Yes.
and I was like, oh my God, you're right. She's so awesome. I
Yeah.
just like, she gained so many points to me that
Yeah.
night. And like for me, I've just been holding on to that. But
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I don't feel like I've gotten a lot more beyond that.
We
You
don't
know,
really know
she
her.
has been the one driving her own story,
Yes, she
not
really has.
Bachelor.
They haven't done it at all, and I think it's unfair because it's their doing. They'll show us what they want us to see, and that's why there's a lot of people that are kind of like, "How'd she end up in the top four?" But you know
Mm,
what? I trust this man. He's smart. He's an adult, and he knows what he's doing. And they obviously have a connection that
yeah.
unfortunately we weren't shown.
Yeah.
So they obviously are connected. They are in it, and I believe that regardless of what people say, as much as I liked Jen and Kelsey T, I think he knew deep down who was going to go to the top four, including with
I think so
Maria.
too.
Even though there
Yeah.
was,
He,
we'll touch on this later, there was a
yeah.
lot going on with that exasperation, but he knew. And even if Maria was like self eliminated, I don't even know if he still would have done a top four unless they forced him to. If he would have
Yeah.
just been like, can we do three hometowns? Because he
Right.
knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
So
so.
I don't know. I'm annoyed that she hasn't gotten the airtime, screen time, I mean, that she deserves, and that people don't
Yeah.
really know her because of that. And I feel like I don't even know her. We're finally going to get to see her a little bit
Yeah.
because of the hometowns.
That will be
Then
great.
how far does she go? Yeah, that would be great. But like, how far will she go after that? And we won't know why. Like
Yeah.
we won't know, like a Daisy, we know. We've seen so much Daisy. A
Yeah.
Kelsey A, we've seen
Maria.
not as much Kelsey A, but we've seen a lot. And yeah, Maria,
Yeah.
we've seen a ton of Maria. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's just my thing about Rachel. That's
Yep.
frustrating. And they were intertwining Maria doing her ITM over voicing over Rachel's date. And then we get to Maria and what happens there.
Oh my
Julia,
gosh.
oh my gosh, get into it. What?
I'll start it off. You jump in if you want.
Okay.
Basically, Maria doesn't like sharing. She's very upset that she had to share him at the group date. She feels like she's just not cut out for this anymore. She's spiraling. She is upset. She talks with him and basically tells him that she's like done. She's like, he says, "Are you sure? Is your mind made up?" She says, "I think it is." And, he does argue with her. He's sitting there like proving his point. He's like, "You discredit what we have. Like you're like talking about how you have all, Joey has all these connections with other girls. She didn't realize it until today. She sees it and she's just now like, how can I even like be part of this? Like, you have these other connections." And I think she's thinking, I just want to know that you're here for me. And she just like didn't think he'd fall or like be so close with all of them. She just figured, oh, he'll date them and then we'll end up together and it'll be clear as day. But it's not. But he tells her, don't just credit what we have. We have something special. We've had something from the beginning, an emotional, physical connection. Um, and, he sees her on a deeper level than most people, especially the other girls there. And, you know, in their ITMs, he says that his heart doesn't get it, but his brain understands. But he really thought they were going somewhere. And that to me just, I was like, oh, wow. Like she was like top two, top three, I think, for him. Um, she like gets up randomly to go cry in the other room, comes back, and she said she overreacted. Like classic move. Bravo, Maria. Like throw a fit, take 2 minutes, come back. Never mind. I was emotional. I don't like, I mean, honestly, I've done that so many times. I've done that too. Like, you just get this space where you're like in your head, you overthink,
Yeah,
you make up your mind. And then as soon as you get that reassurance, you're like, you know what?
good.
I can stay.
Yeah,
Let's keep trying.
yeah.
But what she doesn't realize is that he is scared now. She's
Mhm,
scared, but now he's scared. He wasn't scared, but now he's scared.
mhm.
And in the moment, I was like, wow, she shot herself in the foot. Because
Yeah,
if he's thinking who's not in it for me or who may not reciprocate,
yep.
he's
Maria.
at the top of the list
Yep.
now. And then maybe next is Daisy, which like I did not expect to come out of this episode thinking that.
Hmm.
But I was very worried in that moment. And that's why I just felt like this episode had so many emotions. I was just like at the edge of my seat.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Like,
so
oh.
yeah, and he says that he wants to hold back now,
Hmm.
and that sucks for him. You
Yeah.
shouldn't want to hold back. You should never really like in a relationship, like
Give it
you
your
just should
all.
always want to put everything out there,
Yeah.
you know,
And
especially if you want to
I
marry that
know.
person. What
And
are you
like
saying?
you said, like he's like I think he's just exhausted and exasperated, mentally, physically, and emotionally just exhausted. He looks it throughout this
Mm.
episode. Honestly, he doesn't look as bright-eyed, bushy-tail as we're used to seeing him before week 6. Honestly, I think that's
Yeah.
when the real turn came. And like you were saying, when they had this conversation, I feel like for me, what I was thinking, I came away from that conversation with Maria and I felt like this, it just didn't sit right with me. And I felt kind of like not, I don't think maybe she did it necessarily intentionally or knew what she was doing, but it
Hmm.
was her way of getting validation from him and getting him to almost like it seemed like beg her to stay and reassure her. And
Yes.
he just was not going to do that. And he said later on, when they didn't have the cocktail party at the rose ceremony, when he took her aside for a little bit, he was like, I'm not going to beg you to stay.
Right.
And he was very much like, you don't have to be sorry when she came back, but it's like, you're scared. I'm scared too. I need validation too. Because he was just like, you saw him touching his head the whole time when she went off to that other room, and he was just like this, like the whole time.
Homeboys in his
And
head.
he is in his head. And let's remember, people, I think there's like two things here. Two things, basic things. One of them is he did almost propose to Charity in her season. It was on national TV. He was about to get down on one knee. Regardless of what anyone says, people will go back and forth like, he wasn't, whatever. He was about to propose to her, and she stopped him. That is horrifying. It is one thing for that to happen in real
PTSD,
life.
emotional damage.
Yes, trauma. Like for
Oh,
anyone
poor
to experience
Charity.
that period in life would
Yeah.
be horrific. But it happened to him on TV and everyone saw. Like that is horrible. One.
Yeah.
Two, I'm wondering, did something else happen in a relationship in his life that has brought him to this point? Because I think we can all feel insecure when it comes to if you're really into someone and you may wonder, are they as into me as I'm into them? I think that's a normal human
Hmm.
reaction and thought when you're in a relationship, whatever that relationship is. But since he is so like he harps on it so much, he's constantly talking about it. I'm
Yeah.
wondering, is there something else there that we don't know from his past in a relationship that he felt like he gave his all, or
Yeah.
it happened more than once where he gave his all and that person did not reciprocate? Because
Right.
sometimes he acts like I'm 28 and I'm single, and it's like, dude, you're only 28. You're still
Yeah.
young. Um, but there's
Been through it
something
all.
there that I think
Yeah.
this triggers. And I think like he is so he's so into Maria. He really is. He really likes
Hmm.
Maria. He's really physically attracted to her, as we know. He
He likes to be with her.
he
Like he
likes
just like
being
you could
with
tell
her.
I
Yes,
feel like she really could be that like fun
yes,
companion for him, you
yes.
know?
That's what it is
Not
for
just
them.
a relationship, but like a
Hmm.
really great side, not side piece, but like
Yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
wingman or what's the
Yes.
word? Like your
Well,
partner in crime. Ah,
yes, yes, yes,
that's what I feel she is for him.
yes. And we
And
saw
you hate
that.
to hear that your partner in crime maybe isn't
Yeah,
willing to do it. So,
exactly. And like we saw that last week when they were just hanging out in that limo. Like they just really are. He laughs so much with her. But
mm,
I wonder, like, is he going to feel like at a point, is that enough? Because it's in
yeah.
such sharp contrast to the other three women that are going to hometowns.
Mm.
We have Daisy, Kelsey, and Rachel, who are more even keeled, who are more like this. And it doesn't mean they're boring in any way. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But they're
Yeah.
different fun. They're,
Yes,
I
there
think, more
she's
his
just
speed.
so spicy. Like
Yes,
really,
she's so
she's a little bit
spicy.
more than the typical bachelor
She is.
contestant.
And I think she needs a guy that's going to more match that or be really into it. And even though I think Joey likes it, I think he needs,
Mm.
like, he seems to be more the speed of Daisy, Kelsey, and Rachel.
I
Like,
think you're so right, Arena. I really think that's a good point.
thank you. Yeah, I just, and it just, they just
Yeah.
don't. I like her. I think she'd be a great bachelorette. I did want Jen to be a bachelorette, but they didn't give her a bachelorette edit. We barely saw her, so
You just like kind of,
we saw her more than Rachel, but we
yeah,
did, which is funny
right.
because she only got to top six. But
Yeah.
um, but it seems like because Maria got so much time that she may be a bachelorette, but maybe just not for each other. They're not meant for each other.
Yeah.
So that's what I took away from that conversation and that group date and the fact that he did not give out a rose. So that bothered me because I was a little like, oh my
Oh,
gosh, what does that mean for like
I felt like it was the right thing to do
I mean, yes, it was.
like I mean, they all are in a very sensitive place. And like, if he gave it to Maria after her throwing a fit, sorry.
Yeah.
Seriously, no offense to Maria. I'm saying throwing a fit only because like that's how I'm like qualifying it. I don't know. I'm just saying it because it's easier to say that way. But it's like she, made a big deal about something. And if it's like, oh, so like that's what I got to do to get my roses, just be dramatic or like, scare him. Like that's not a
Yeah.
good look
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
giving out a rose based on that. And I felt like she was the only one who maybe would have gotten the rose. Did you feel anyone would have gotten it? Not Jen, so
Yeah, unfortunately, not Jen or Kelsey T, obviously.
no.
And like I said, they're
Daisy
great. I
already
really
had it.
liked them.
Or Daisy wasn't there. So
Yeah, they weren't there in that one, the group
yeah.
date. I feel like Rachel, like I feel like
But it was
because
so
there's four
short. It just didn't make
spots.
sense for the episode, you know?
Yeah. So I understand, yeah, why he didn't do it and it made sense and we had to go to the rose ceremony. And I also feel like in terms of not having the cocktails reception or like cocktail hour, I
Yeah.
I feel like I wonder if they did that because this is what I would be thinking. Like he knew at that point who he was going to ask to be in the hometowns. Like
He did.
we already had,
He just
and
knew.
we'll get to
No
Kelsey A's
point.
one on one,
Yeah.
but like Daisy
It's
and
getting a
Kelsey A
little
already
long.
had their roses, and he knew already. So then why spend time with the other two women who he knows he's not
Exactly.
going to give it to, and they're
Fake.
pouring their hearts out.
Fakeness.
Yeah,
He can't reassure them
yeah.
anymore.
No, he can't. And they probably would have
So
used that time to be like, I am falling for you. I really see a future with you. And that's hard
he would have
to
just been like,
to sit through. Yeah.
he already
When you
knew. It's
know
not hard anymore.
it's
He's
not you.
not like
That part.
looking up names and pictures.
Yeah.
He's like, this is the list,
Yeah.
that's it. This is
Yeah.
how many roses we need.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So
Jesse.
made sense.
Oh,
Jesse coming in. We're not gonna have the cocktail hour tonight. Just gonna go straight to the rose ceremony.
oh my
When
God.
you're ready, Joe. And at the end, final rose when you're ready, Joe. I
Ah,
don't
the
know.
final rose.
I love it.
He
Jesse,
gave one rose,
you're
and now
awesome.
it's the final rose.
That was the
Okay.
final
Oh
one.
my God. We have to talk about Kelsey's date so that we can
Yes.
just
Polar
finish
plunge.
our conversation about the rose ceremony. Polar plunge. That's basically it. They had a fun
Yes.
time walking around
Yes.
Jasper.
Yes.
Cute,
Cute. Of
beautiful,
course.
happy,
Yes.
fun.
They're the most
I
happy together.
Yes, I mean, she's his piece. That's how I
Yeah.
see it.
Like
She's his piece.
he is in love. It's almost like he's already in love with her. I mean, come on.
No, I
It
just think
looks like it.
honestly, I think I'm team Kelsey.
It's
Like,
Kelsey
I
A at
think
the
it's,
end. It's got
I
to be
hope
Kelsey A.
so. If it's not, then
Um,
uh,
then that's okay because he's choosing who's best for him and only he truly knows
yes,
who
you're
that
right.
is.
You're
Okay?
so right.
I love Rachel, but I don't think it's because we haven't really seen her. So it's not going to be her.
Unless
Because
something really
then we would have seen her
changes,
more.
who knows? Um, but yeah, the polar bear plunge was very fun
Yeah.
for
And it
them.
was
I would have been
he
cold.
was not into it. She was more like I
He
was
was so
breathing
funny.
through it and I was
She's
and he
like,
was
I've
like
been waiting to do this. He was like, what?
he's
Everyone
like
was
this is
like,
going to be horrible.
I just
He's
love
like
her.
I'm excited.
She's the kind of family that like does a 5K on
Right?
Thanksgiving morning,
Well, she does 5Ks too. Like she
She
runs, she does
does.
marathons.
Yeah. That's
So,
amazing for her.
yes.
I'm not that
Yes.
person. Maybe Joey is. I mean, he's an athlete, so there's a good chance he
He's
could
an
do it.
athlete. He doesn't
Wants
like to
to.
get up early though.
The cold.
He
I
has
think
said
that's
that.
what threw
He
him.
doesn't
Oh,
like the cold
really?
that early.
Oh. See,
Yeah.
this is where we really need to make sure these bachelor execs are throwing the tough questions at these people. When do you wake up?
When do you wake up?
What temperature is your house and your environment? Like, these are the hard-hitting questions that we never hear, Raina.
Never here.
You need to really think about things seriously. I'm
Yeah,
being a
like
little sarcastic, but also not. Honestly,
no,
like you need
not
to know
yeah,
these things.
for real.
So,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's also when it comes to being with someone, that does matter. It's like, are you a morning person? You're not a morning person. Two
For
people who are
real.
like, it can work, honestly. Like, my husband is not a morning person at all whatsoever, and I grew to become one out of necessity, and now I
Right.
get why it's good because I get so much more done. But like, he's still sleeping in. It's like 7. The kids are up, and I'm like, can you get up? Because I'm working.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm trying. I work remotely. I'm
Oh
trying to get stuff done.
yeah. I
I'm up for.
know.
Um,
I am
but yeah.
thankful. My husband and I are pretty similar in our like
Mhm.
routines and our temperature. I
Yeah.
mean, he likes the house like a little colder than me, but
Yeah.
I've grown accustomed to it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like we're not those people where like one person has a comforter, the other person has a fan. Like we're
We are.
good. Really? Oh my
Yeah.
God. I couldn't. I don't know if I could. Although I listen to white noise, but like I don't need the fan, you
Yeah.
know? I'm a weird person. I think that I'm like the outlier here because I'm pretty sure everyone else in my entire life has told me, oh, I sleep with the fan. And I'm like, no thanks. It gets
It
cold
depends.
for me.
It depends. It depends. If it's
Yeah.
like really burning hot, because where I live, it gets pretty awful
True.
in the
You
summer.
live, I mean, I've only ever lived in somewhere with 4 seasons. You
Yeah.
have two, but now you live
Yeah.
in a warm climate,
Yeah.
very hot,
Born and
hot
raised
climate.
in real seasons, and now I live out west, and it's very
Yeah.
different. But I don't love the cold. I like to visit it, but I don't
Yeah,
need to live in it where I have to scrape
right.
off my windshield. I'm
Oh
sorry,
my
it's just not
God.
me. Doesn't mean
So
I'll never
glad
live in
I'm done with that.
it.
Although I was also working remote, so I like barely had to do that. But
But so see, that's
last year it sucked.
the
But
and now,
yeah, anyways, so
yes,
yeah, he did it though. And we actually haven't seen a lot of like what is it? Like jump scare, kind of like scary dates. We
yeah,
haven't seen
they didn't
any.
do any of that, did
They
they?
haven't done any.
None of
Like
the
usually
bungee
they're bungee
stuff.
jumping or
Yeah,
like
I just realized that. No jumping
what
out of
yeah, they haven't
planes.
done either. They haven't
No,
done
Joey
anything
got away with not doing
scary. So what?
anything.
So you ran into the ocean in your boxers? I don't
Really,
feel bad for you,
for like
Joey.
2 minutes. No,
2 seconds. No threat of death, hypothermia.
you made
He's with
out
other
in the cold
people.
water. That kept you
Yeah,
warm.
I know. And then they
Wow.
had a little warmth pod right
Yes,
there on the
I
beach.
know.
I don't know. I bet all the other people are staring like, why do they
I
can
know.
I get in
I was
there? Like how
wondering
much
that.
is that? Why
I
can't I would
I
have been
was
like,
wondering.
yo, it's my turn, excuse me.
I know, right? They just like went in, made out, had a good time. Like, and
It
then
was cute though. I was like,
it
more of
was so cute.
those. I
And then
wish that was like a thing.
the
Mhm.
nighttime portion, like another way you can tell he's so into her is because they were talking about hometowns, and it wasn't like what if, it was like next week, like this is
Oh my God,
happening.
right?
And he's
Yeah.
like, I bet your dad's so amazing. And then the ITM, he's like, I bet he'd be a great father-in-law. He is already
Yes.
planning. Joey's like, let's go. You have 4 siblings. Will I meet all of them?
It's
Like,
happening. Oh
she's
my
like, well,
God.
I hope you do.
I think it's Kelsey. I hope
I think it's
so.
okay. It totally makes. I really like Kelsey, by the way. I
Mhm.
think she's great. I love, like we said before, we did the profile. She's really
Yeah.
into
She's a good
helping with
person.
nonprofits and
Yeah.
volunteering. Yeah, she seems like a really good person.
And like not for show.
Yes, and not for show. And she wants to have her own nonprofit one day. She lives in New Orleans, so she like, which is a great place to visit. Like their food's amazing. I love it there.
I've
But
never been. That's
it's
probably like the top of my list to go
it's a nice
next.
quick trip too
But you
for
can't
you.
go with a baby.
Yeah, that's a little
I was
hard.
gonna
We
go
went
for my
for
baby
kids.
moon. Wasn't that the dumbest idea? I was literally like, what about New Orleans for that baby moon? Everyone's like, everyone's drunk there and it's
Well,
hot.
and that's
And
the thing too. It's like with New Orleans, you get to see the real New Orleans and you get to see the tourist part. So like the Mardi Gras part is not the real New Orleans. Like down
oh.
that main street, that is
Mhm.
not really what it is. It's like there's so much more to that place. And like we went on tours, like a tour of like where unfortunately where Hurricane Katrina went through, which is also really important. We went to a museum because you really need to learn about that
Yeah.
aspect of it too,
Hmm.
because that's really important for
Those
that
people have
city.
been through a lot. Hmm.
A lot. But yeah, like I said too, the food's amazing. And people are super nice and
Oh,
friendly. So you
even
should
for a
definitely
vegan
go,
or
guys.
plant-based, pescatarian. Maybe I'll
Well,
be pescatarian a little bit.
I was
Do they
yeah, it's
farm
hard.
crawfish?
It's pot pescatarian is the only way that you can really
I
it
know.
unfortunately, yeah.
What have I
Like
done? No, it's fine. I'm really
beignets
into
are
it.
delicious
Okay.
now. That's vegetarian.
Yes. Yay.
There's
I'll just
okay.
eat a bunch of beignets.
Okay.
Yay, my
That's weird.
Morningstar
Yeah.
chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Great time.
Do you
No,
serve
it's
Morningstar?
fine. This is my life now. I'll just bring a bag of tofu everywhere I go.
It's cool. I'm fine. Let me just. Do you have a plate that I can just?
Do you have a microwave?
Do you have a microwave? Let me just pop these in.
Oh God.
No, ma'am.
I love how much we've talked about like plant-based eating this episode.
Yeah. Well,
Viewers, you're just getting to know us. We're new,
and
you're still getting to know us. And this is
that's who we
us.
are.
This is us. Um, but yeah, so she had a cute date,
Yeah.
got a rose.
Yep. No doubt.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. And now let's just talk about the rose ceremony. Y'all already know what happened. We've done a pretty bad job at gatekeeping who ends up, but
Usually more
I
in
know
order.
we try and lead up to it, but we just couldn't help it. And honestly, like we were right. We were saying this last week. So,
Hmm. We know.
yeah, so he doesn't do the cocktail party because
Yeah.
again, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
There's two roses.
Yep.
He gives one to Rachel.
Yep.
And then he gives one to, oh wait, no, we did for, well, we kind of, again, we talked about it, but he did pull Maria aside first
Mm-hmm.
just to like double check. I'm not gonna like force this, I
Yeah.
need to know like what's going on. And she's
Yeah.
like, I'm in it. What did she say? Did you
I
say
don't
something?
remember I remember what he said where he said he's not going to beg her, but that's all I remember. Like I just remember her being like she's going to do this. Like she wants to do this. That's all I remember. I don't remember her
Yeah.
exact words.
I just wrote, he's scared she will leave him. And then I
Hmm.
wrote, keeps Rachel. Yes. And Maria. Ah.
Yeah. And that was
I
it.
wasn't surprised, but part of me was thinking like maybe he doesn't trust her
Yeah.
and
I
he's
don't think he
not going to go
does.
for Maria. I don't think he does either. I think the trust is broken with
Yes.
Maria, and I think his insecurities about Daisy are just going to grow
Yeah.
unless she does something drastic, which I don't think she'll do. I don't
I
know.
don't know. It depends on how that hometown goes. I think that hometown could be a game changer for everyone, but especially for his relationship with Daisy. I think that it could either make it or break it. And if it makes it and they get to fantasy suites, I still think there's a lot to talk about, which is the great thing about, or overnights, which is the great thing about overnights
Yeah.
is that there's that time without cameras for them to really get to know each other.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we'll see. But yeah, his trust in Maria is broken for sure. But I think he felt stronger about her than Jen and Kelsey T. And that is
Yeah.
why he moved forward with Maria anyways.
Yeah.
Because maybe he's also still holding out some hope with
I think
Maria.
so. I think that's what it is. Like, I think he so wants it to
Hmm.
be like equal and like
Yeah.
he has this idea of what it could be.
Yeah.
And like she is reassuring him enough that
Yeah.
he's like, okay, maybe it can still happen, but like we just got to see what happens next week.
Yeah.
And again, like, I mean, I guess she won't really see him with the other girls next week,
Yeah, they don't
So
see.
maybe that could actually help them grow stronger.
It could. We'll
Give her
see.
more confidence. I don't know.
Maybe, but
But
that teaser, you never know though. They
I
do
know all the
teasers
dads, of course, are
throw
like,
us
what the
off.
fuck are you
That
doing?
was hilarious. First of all, her dad was like, Joey, like, he's bringing, she's bringing him home, and, if he doesn't choose her, basically, it's not good for him. And then you
It's
see
not good
Rachel's
for him.
dad at one point in their teaser, like, looking at or looking at something. It may not have been Joey, because they edit this, right? But at one point, you see her dad looking. And just a series like
The
that, and
look.
her mom's questioning Joey.
Skeptical.
Like,
Oh
and
yeah, the mom had
Daisy
a
told,
look too. She's like,
yes, I know, I loved it. And then Daisy's mom was like, basically, this is a lot that you're coming into and you're bringing on. And
yeah,
then Kelsey A's dad was definitely the least like scary, end quote, or
scary.
the least like stern, but he was like, too, like questioning, like, hello, so what do you,
Yeah,
you have three other women.
yeah.
Like,
I am glad that Joey hasn't said I love you yet.
yeah,
I hope that he holds off on that. He cannot tell four women he loves them.
I don't think he will, but I
I
think
really
he
hope.
might tell two.
2.
That's what I
I
think.
hope not 3.
It'd
So
be, I mean,
tell us what you think, listeners. Do you think he'll spill it
it
for
is
3?
three.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Not good for them though,
yeah.
for the viewers.
But I am definitely getting more excited about each episode.
Me too.
And it's sad that Kelsey T and Jen are out, but
Yeah.
like we kind of thought this would happen. I
Mhm.
think they both got, it was really fun to watch their stories
Yeah.
unfold, and I really hope that they are on Bachelor in Paradise in the
Ah,
future.
another reason
I
why
wish
we need to
they,
bring Bachelor in Paradise
yeah,
back because they have amazing women for this season. Like,
yeah,
we need to see these women's stories continue. Like you were saying with Kelsey
uh-huh,
T and Jen, I want to see Jen again. I want to see Kelsey T again. She really put her life out there in her one
mhm.
on one, and that was some serious stuff. They both did. But
Yeah.
like her talking about her religion, her dad doesn't even know that she was on this show. Like, that's
She's
a
like, you
lot.
won't meet him. It's
That's
like,
a
whoa,
lot. Like,
yeah,
and she put it out there. So I hope they do Bachelor in Paradise because they need to. They have too many amazing women
I
from this
know.
season not to do that show this summer. I hope they
Come
just
on,
make it
Jesse,
work.
make it happen.
Just make it happen.
Make it happen.
Make it
It's
happen.
not hard.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, and
like
maybe they do something different.
the
Maybe they
beach.
don't. Maybe they like I heard something, and I don't know what I was listening to, that they may do maybe a summer games like they used to have the winter games.
Oh my God, I loved the
What if they
winter
did that?
games. That
Yeah,
would be so, I really think that that would be a great direction for the franchise.
we could
I
do that.
loved the winter games. And then remember the Listen to Your Heart one? Did you
Oh, I
watch
never
that? The
saw it, but I
singing
heard of it.
competition?
I heard
I
of it.
still follow like some of the people from that. Like they
Really?
were good. Yeah.
Okay.
What was that one chick's
Yeah,
name? I really liked Rudy from that show. She was like so good and she's super cute. She didn't find love though, but I just liked that show a lot. So she was on The Voice, I think.
oh, cool.
Yeah, she was on The Voice recently. And I don't know how far she went. I don't really watch that. I don't watch these things like Dancing with the Stars or The Voice, but I like when my Bachelor people are on it and I
Yeah.
always support them. So,
Yeah.
um,
I don't watch the voice
but
shows or any of the other shows. I just watch
yeah,
Dancing with the
I just
Stars.
watch reality TV about love.
That's
Maybe we
okay.
could talk about that another time, like what other
Yeah.
shows we like. But all right, I think that was everything, right, Arena?
That
Is that our
is
whole recap?
that is everything. We're just looking forward to the hometowns next week and who is eliminated after that. And then we'll go into overnights in the top three. Whoa. Who's it
And
gonna be?
oh,
I know.
and keep an eye out for our little extra episodes. We're doing a Maria deep dive. We're gonna have a special guest next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, our friend,
My good friend Elizabeth
Elizabeth.
Regan will be
Mhm.
on next week. So, and Elizabeth is she has a nonprofit animal rescue in Southern California, which is doing a lot of great work. And she's also an actor, writer, producer, director, and she's been in the business since she was like 5 years old. So
Oh,
she is
wow.
very schooled in it, and she's
Great.
definitely someone I
And she
get
has some
asked to
hot
play.
takes about the show,
She does. She
right? So I'm
does. So it'll
excited
be
to
fun.
meet her actually
She's
and
funny.
to hear what she has to
Yeah,
say.
she's really funny.
So keep an eye out for that, everyone. And of course, let us know in our comments if there's a special brand of wine
Uh-huh.
that we should try, or if you've tried some that we've
Yeah.
recommended, like Forbidden Kiss,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then my other ones that I've mentioned
Huh.
that I still don't remember.
Or sparkling water
Not
too.
really.
Do you
Yeah.
have some more
Oh my God,
sparkling
sparkling
waters you
water.
like?
I have a soda stream. I drink it 24/7.
Yeah.
So,
I drink,
but yeah, I like La Croix.
yeah, I drink a lot of
Yeah.
La Croix because it's always on sale. That's really why I do
Nice.
it. The Topo
Yeah.
Rico is really good too,
Oh, I don't even know it. I haven't tried different ones in a long time because I just got a soda stream like 4 years ago and
which is
that's
such
all
a
I
good
drink.
idea though. Instead
It
of
really
buying
is. It's
outright.
cost saving and it's easy. It's just constant seltzer water.
Yeah.
And you
See,
can add lime to it,
I like the hint of flavor.
orange juice.
I do like
It's so
that.
good. Anyways, so
Sponsor us
Let us know if
sometime.
you froth it, by the way, too.
Oh
Froth
my
it up.
gosh, that'd be awesome.
But all right, it's great to catch up with you, Arena. Such
Yeah.
a fun episode.
Yeah. I'm excited for next week. And yeah, great to catch up with you. And thank you guys for joining us and listening and watching. And we look forward to seeing you with the profile and then next week for our next recap because this season's almost over. Oh
Ah,
my gosh. And then we're also going to find out who the new bachelorette is and the golden
yes.
bachelorette at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, guys.
So many exciting things to
Maybe.
come.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, have a great night, everyone. We'll
Good
see you next
night.
time.
Bye.
Bye.